The dawn of a new leadership role arrives not with a thunderclap, but often with the quiet, heavy weight of anticipation. Every thought, every action, and every word spoken throughout a lifetime has acted as a silent architect, building the foundation for the individual who now stands at the threshold of authority. Whether the setting is a bustling corporate headquarters in Europe, a small community center in the American continent, or even the intimate, chaotic environment of a large family home, the essence of leadership remains a universal constant. It is a journey that begins long before the official title is bestowed, rooted in the quiet discipline of one's own character. The air in a new office or a new meeting space carries a distinct electricity, a mixture of the leader's own nerves and the collective curiosity of those waiting to be guided. Leadership manifests in a vast array of shapes and sizes, transcending the boundaries of formal hierarchies. It is found in the person who organizes a local volunteer group under the evening stars, or the individual who spends their weekends coaching a children's sports team, teaching more about life than about the game itself. It is present in the founder of a fledgling startup, navigating the lonely waters of a business of one, and it is equally present in the chief executive managing the complexities of a global empire. The scale of the endeavor, whether it is perceived as trivial or monumental, does not change the fundamental art of the craft. To inspire, to organize, and to motivate a group of children within the walls of a home requires a spirit not unlike that needed to steer a board of directors toward a transformative vision. The world is constantly in search of this spirit, waiting for individuals to step into their potential and become the most effective guides they can possibly be. This need for capable guidance is visible in every corner of society. In various parts of the world, from the halls of government in major capitals to local municipalities, the struggle to find focus and consistency is palpable. Many find themselves unable to complete their mandates, lost in the friction of internal conflict. Businesses of all sizes face a landscape of staggering complexity and fierce competition, where management teams often grasp for results that remain just out of reach. Even in the world of sports, the frequent turnover of coaches speaks to a desperate search for stability and vision. Public sectors, burdened by limited resources, struggle to maintain the health of educational systems and the capacity of hospitals. When leadership fails, the ripples are felt in every facet of life, from the sacred halls of a church to the private sanctuary of a family unit. These failures serve as a stark reminder of what is at stake. When one reflects on the image of a successful leader, the mind may drift toward those figures whose influence is vast and visible, the global innovators who have reshaped industries across the American continent and beyond. Yet inspiration often comes from closer, more humble sources. It might be a former teacher who saw potential where others saw none, a community leader who transformed a neighborhood, or a partner who manages the complexities of a shared life with grace and wisdom. Each of these figures represents a facet of what it means to lead effectively. The journey toward becoming such a person is not a matter of chance, but of intentional development. It is an invitation to look inward, to examine the tools one has at their disposal, and to recognize which ones have been left gathering dust. Most people carry an immense arsenal of untapped potential, skills, advantages, and perspectives that remain underutilized throughout their careers. At the same time, many remain tethered to weaknesses that quietly sabotage their progress, often without them even realizing it. The transition into a new role offers a rare moment of pause, a chance to reflect on how one wishes to grow and what kind of legacy they intend to leave behind. It is a time to ponder not just the tasks at hand, but the people who will be influenced by those tasks. This initial phase is about more than just a change in job description. It is the beginning of a transformation. As the leader prepares to step into this new light, a critical question lingers in the air. How will they ensure that this beginning is not just a start, but a foundation for something enduring?
The first days and weeks in a new leadership position, particularly within a new organization, carry a weight that is often underestimated. This period is a crucible, a delicate time when the trajectory of the leader's future is largely determined. It is during these initial interactions that the soil is prepared for the growth or the stagnation of professional relationships. New colleagues and team members watch with a mixture of hope and skepticism, their perceptions and expectations being shaped by every gesture and every decision made in the early hours of the transition. The way a leader adapts to this new environment serves as a blueprint for how they will eventually navigate the challenges to come. There is an inherent tension in these early moments. The desire to prove one's worth and to demonstrate immediate value can be overwhelming. Many feel a powerful urge to dive headfirst into tasks, to make sweeping changes, and to assert their authority through action. However, the path to true success is often more subtle and requires a higher degree of self-restraint. To enter a new space without due care and attention is to invite the risk of simple but devastating errors. Without a deep understanding of the context and the history of the environment, a leader might inadvertently create animosity or fail to meet the very standards they were hired to elevate. The challenge lies in resisting the pressure to be the hero of the story from the very first minute. One of the most vital yet difficult disciplines to master in this phase is the art of listening. In the corridors of power across England, Spain, or any major economic hub, the most effective new leaders are often those who speak the least. There is a common trap where a newcomer feels compelled to share a mountain of opinions on how things could be improved, often citing how much better or more efficient things were in their previous organization. This comparison rarely inspires confidence. Instead, it often breeds resentment among those who have been working within the current system. By choosing to listen rather than to lecture, the leader signals respect for the existing culture and for the efforts of those who came before them. Furthermore, the first few weeks demand a conscious effort to withhold judgment. It is easy to look at an individual's performance or a team's output and form a rapid conclusion about their competence. Yet, such judgments are often hollow if they are not informed by a complete analysis of the context and the recent history of the organization. A person who seems to be struggling might be doing so because of systemic obstacles that are not yet visible to the newcomer. By giving people a chance and allowing the full picture to emerge, the leader avoids the pitfall of making unfair assessments that could damage morale and trust before they are even established. Success in this transition also requires a profound willingness to adjust. Every organization has its own unique cultural norms, the unwritten rules that dictate how people interact, how they share ideas, and how they navigate the workday. A leader who arrives with a rigid mindset, expecting the world to conform to their existing habits, will likely find themselves at odds with their environment. True leadership involves observing these nuances and adapting one's behavior to align with the culture, at least until a deep level of trust has been earned. This is not a sign of weakness, but of strategic intelligence. It is the process of becoming a part of the organism rather than remaining a foreign body within it. In this early stage, the goal is to absorb everything. There is no requirement to create an instant impression by agreeing with every suggestion or by saying yes to every request that lands on the desk. In fact, a leader who agrees too readily may find themselves overcommitted to projects they do not yet fully understand. Time is the most valuable asset in the beginning, and it should be used to observe the specific details of the problems at hand and the nature of the responsibilities being inherited. By pausing and reflecting, the leader minimizes the risk of misunderstanding the world around them, ensuring that when they finally do take action, it is with a steady hand and a clear vision. The depth of a leader's success is often measured by the quality of the relationships they build, and these relationships are forged in the quiet observation of the everyday. As the days turn into weeks, the focus shifts from merely surviving the transition to deeply understanding the human element of the organization. This is where the emotional and intellectual progression of the leader truly begins. Instead of viewing the team as a collection of roles and functions, the effective leader begins to see the invisible threads that connect people, the way they support each other in times of stress, and the way they celebrate small victories. This period of deep exploration is characterized by a commitment to the cultural fabric of the workplace. In any professional setting, whether in Latin America or the bustling cities of the American continent, there is a rhythm to how work gets done. A leader must become a student of this rhythm. They look at how colleagues communicate. Is the tone formal and structured, or is it fluid and spontaneous? Do people share their ideas openly in meetings, or are the most important conversations happening in the quiet moments between sessions?
Understanding these patterns is essential for anyone who hopes to eventually influence them. It is not enough to have a vision. One must understand the language in which that vision must be communicated. There is also the matter of how gratitude and criticism are exchanged. In some cultures, praise is public and exuberant, while in others, it is private and understated. The same applies to feedback. A leader who misreads these cues might inadvertently offend a high performer or fail to address a critical issue effectively. By observing how colleagues demonstrate appreciation and how they handle disagreements, the leader gains insight into the emotional safety of the environment. They begin to see where the conflicts arise, and more importantly, how they are resolved. Is the organization one that avoids conflict at all costs, or one that uses tension as a catalyst for innovation? These insights are the building blocks of a sophisticated leadership strategy. Observation extends to the physical and virtual spaces the team occupies. The way an office is arranged, the visibility of certain goals, and even the way digital tools are used to delegate tasks can reveal a great deal about what the organization truly values. If a leader notices that key performance indicators are shared transparently and discussed frequently, they know they are in an environment that prioritizes accountability. If they see that resources are guarded or that asking for help is viewed as a sign of weakness, they recognize a culture of silos and fear. These are not things that can be learned from a manual. They must be felt and witnessed over time. During this phase, the leader also begins to identify who the true influencers are within the group. Often, the person with the most formal power is not the one who holds the most social capital. There are individuals who, through their experience or their temperament, serve as the emotional anchors of the team. Building a rapport with these individuals is crucial. It requires a humble approach, approaching them not as a superior, but as a colleague who is eager to learn. This humility is a powerful tool. It breaks down the natural defenses that people have towards a new boss and opens the door for genuine collaboration. As the leader moves through this process of deep exploration, they may feel a growing sense of tension. They are gathering a vast amount of information, much of it contradictory. They see the strengths of the organization, but they also begin to see the cracks. The urge to fix those cracks starts to pull at them, creating a desire for action that conflicts with their commitment to observation. This is the moment where the internal struggle reaches its peak. The leader must hold this tension, resisting the urge to jump to conclusions, knowing that the most important revelations are often the ones that take the longest to surface. It is a period of quiet growth, where the leader is becoming the person the team needs them to be, even if the team doesn't know it yet.
The transition from observation to integration marks a critical turning point in the leadership journey. It is the moment when the leader stops being a guest in the organization and starts becoming its steward. This shift often happens through a structured approach to what is known as onboarding. Rather than treating the first months as a period of trial and error, the most successful individuals treat it as a complex, high-stakes project that demands total attention and careful planning. This is where the foundation for long-term excellence is finally poured. In this phase, the leader must be willing to let go of everything they think they know. All past experiences, though valuable, can become a burden if they are used as a rigid template for the present. A strategy that worked perfectly in a tech hub in England might fail spectacularly in a traditional firm in the American continent. To avoid this, the leader must adopt a mindset of radical openness, acknowledging that they do not have all the answers on day one. This vulnerability is not a liability. It is a profound strength. It allows the leader to see the current reality for what it actually is, rather than what they expect it to be. One of the effective tools used during this climax of the transition is the practice of maintaining a detailed record of observations. This is not a simple task list, but a reflective journal that captures the nuances of the new environment. By documenting the differences and similarities between their current role and their past experiences, the leader creates a map of the cultural terrain. They record how budgets are negotiated, how forecasts are created, and how plans are implemented. They take note of how people ask for help and what happens when someone falls short of their goals. This systematic approach transforms vague impressions into actionable knowledge. There is a specific focus on how performance is recognized and rewarded. A leader discovers a great deal about an organization's soul by looking at what behaviors are celebrated and what behaviors are tolerated. Are those who take risks rewarded, even if they fail? Or is the culture one that prizes safety and conformity above all else? The realization of these truths is often the emotional peak of the transition. It is the moment of clarity where the leader understands the true nature of the challenge they have accepted. They see the gaps between the organization's stated values and its actual practices. This revelation brings a new kind of responsibility. With the knowledge gained from weeks of quiet observation, the leader now has the power to act with precision. They are no longer guessing, they are responding to the actual needs of the people and the business. However, even at this turning point, the most effective path is often one of small, meaningful adjustments, rather than a total overhaul. The goal is to steer the ship toward a better course, without causing it to capsize in the process. The transition into this level of understanding is a profound shift in consciousness, where the leader begins to see themselves not as an outsider looking in, but as a vital part of the system's future. As this period of intense learning begins to stabilize, the leader starts to see the results of their patience. Because they took the time to listen and observe, they have built a reservoir of trust. People feel heard and they feel respected. When the leader finally does offer an opinion or propose a change, it carries far more weight because it is rooted in the reality of the team's experience. This is the climax of the first stage of leadership, the successful navigation of the transition. It is a quiet victory, one that sets the stage for everything that follows. The leader has survived the first day, the first week, and the first month, and in doing so, they have earned the right to lead.
In the aftermath of the initial transition, a new sense of calm begins to settle over the leader's work. The frantic energy of the first days is replaced by a steady, purposeful rhythm. The internal and external transformations that occurred during the first months now start to bear fruit. The leader is no longer the essence of a successful leadership journey is often found in the quiet moments of the beginning. It is a reminder that leadership is not a destination one reaches, but a continuous process of becoming. The discipline required to listen when one wants to speak, to observe when one wants to act, and to learn when one wants to teach is the hallmark of those who truly excel. This approach, though it may seem slow or even passive to the uninitiated, is actually a profound form of strategic patience. It is the recognition that the most enduring structures are built on foundations that were prepared with the utmost care and attention. Ultimately, the lesson conveyed through this journey is that every interaction is an opportunity for growth. Whether it is in the halls of power in Europe or in a small community group in Latin America, the principles of humility, observation, and adaptation remain the same. To lead is to serve, and to serve effectively, one must first understand. This understanding cannot be rushed. It must be earned through presence and a genuine interest in the world and the people around us. By treating the transition into leadership as a sacred time of learning, an individual honors the responsibility they have been given and shows respect for the collective effort of their team. The transformation of a leader is a mirror of the transformation they hope to see in their organization. As they learn to master their own impulses and to align their actions with a deeper sense of purpose, they create a space where others can do the same. This is the true power of leadership, not the ability to command, but the ability to inspire a shared commitment to excellence and growth. The path of the successful leader is one of constant reflection, a journey where every day is an opportunity to refine one's character and to deepen one's impact. It is a path that requires courage, but the rewards are measured in the trust, the loyalty, and the success of those who follow. In the grand tapestry of a career, the first days may seem like small threads, yet they are the ones that hold the entire design together. By starting in the right way, a leader sets a standard that will influence every decision and every relationship that follows. They demonstrate that they are someone who values truth over ego and understanding over mere activity. This legacy of integrity and wisdom becomes their most important contribution, far outweighing any specific project or achievement. It is a way of being in the world that commands respect and invites others to reach for their own potential. As this exploration concludes, the image of the leader remains one of quiet strength and focused intention. They are a person who recognizes that their life has prepared them for this moment, and that their task is to honor that preparation by continuing to grow. The journey of leadership is long and often difficult, but for those who are willing to invest the time and the effort to start well, it is a journey of profound meaning and fulfillment. It is an invitation to step into the world with a clear eye and an open heart, ready to lead not just by title, but by example. The world is waiting for such leaders, and the opportunity to become one starts with the very next breath, the very next observation, and the very first day.